back to Living 808. Understanding trusts can make a big difference when planning your family's future. Here to break it all down is Kay Mukaigala of Engel & Volkers in another edition of Living Akamai.
We're so happy to have Michelle Ogata, Principal Attorney of Estate Planning Partners Hawaii, joining us today to discuss estate planning and trust. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you, Kay.
As a realtor, I see homes owned by people's trust all the time. Sometimes the home is owned by a married couple's individual trust, and sometimes by a married couple's joint trust. What are some of the situations where it would make sense for one or the other?
Thank you, Kay. As you can imagine, there are several reasons why a couple might have individual trusts versus a joint trust. But in general, these days, for a lot of married couples, we are preparing a joint trust. In other words, the couple would create one trust together as opposed to creating two trusts that are sometimes mirror images of each other. It can simplify the planning for the couple, especially if most of the assets are held jointly anyway, such as their home, bank accounts, or investments. Also, if the couple has children and all of the children are from their marriage and their wishes are the same, a joint trust is often easier to manage. By contrast, if we're working with a married couple who have a blended family and they want to make sure assets end up with his or her own respective children after they're gone, then we may want to consider individual trusts. Another example where individual trusts may be recommended is if the couple holds assets separately. For example, if they own real property, individual and not jointly. We see this sometimes where one spouse owned property before they got married, or one spouse inherited property from his or her family. If they want to keep the separation or keep the property in his or her own name, then individual trust would make more sense.
Are there tax consequences or considerations between the two?
There are trusts, both individual and joint, can be set up in many different ways, and there are a lot of nuances when it comes to trusts. But generally speaking, a joint trust can be set up so that the beneficiaries get a full step-up in basis after both spouses are gone, thereby avoiding or minimizing the amount of capital gains taxes the beneficiaries would pay if the property is sold in the future. So to illustrate this, let's say the couple purchased property many years ago for $300,000, and they put it in a joint trust. That trust can be set up in a way where the beneficiaries or kids receive a full step-up in basis after both spouses are gone. Therefore, if the property is worth $1.5 million, after the second spouse passes away, $1.5 million will be the new basis. And if the property is sold for $1.5 million, there will be no capital gains taxes. Most separate trusts are set up so that the beneficiaries receive a half step-up in basis to the first spouse's date of death value, and another half step-up in basis when the second spouse passes away. In that situation, if the beneficiaries sell the home, they would pay more capital gains taxes than in our joint trust situation. As you can see, Kay, from a tax standpoint, a joint trust created in a way where the kids or beneficiaries get a full step-up in basis seems ideal. But please keep in mind there are risks with this type of planning as well. What if one spouse passes away and the surviving spouse gets remarried and wants to change the beneficiaries of the trust to this new spouse? Or the surviving spouse gets influenced by a caregiver or some bad actor to change the trust to leave the assets to this new person? I think we've all heard the stories, and they are real considerations that need to be discussed while creating a trust. At our upcoming seminar, we'll talk about these considerations and take a deeper dive into trusts and other planning options.
I'm really looking forward to our upcoming seminar, and I know you have a lot more to share. So thanks so much for enlightening us today.
Thank you for having me, Kay.
If you would like to speak to Michelle Ogata or are interested in attending our upcoming event, give us a call at 808-725-2000 or visit our website at livingakamai.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Engel & Volkers Honolulu is here to help you live Akamai.
Great advice, good stuff, and as always, helping save some money there with the kids.
That's right. And make sure you guys check out their seminars and also our past segments that we've done with them.
Yep.
You can log on to KHN2.com for more information.
Or livingakamai.com as well.